U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has defended the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein files at a hearing this week as lawmakers, including Republicans, expressed frustration about the amount of material that was put out there and then redacted. The day started with a call from survivors demanding more names being released.
The people who have harmed us, they are hidden, while survivors have been exposed. Abusers' names and contact information is redacted, while our faces and stories are left on full display.
And survivors of Epstein's abuse even released this announcement on Super Bowl Sunday.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
Because she deserves the truth.
Because we all deserve the truth.
It doesn't get any bigger than that, and we finally got to the hearing of Attorney General Pam Bondi, except it was more than an attack than an actual hearing when Bondi was ambushed. Have a look at this.
Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time. We're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say this.
I'll direct it to
what
you.
a massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupted.
I'm not going to get in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time.
doing theatrics.
Let me have my...
You showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaim
Not on our time. No way.
Reclaim
And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me
Yeah, I
anything,
did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Mick, that was less the Senate than Jerry Springer. What did you make of it all?
James, listen, I've been on those hearings. I've been on both sides of those hearings. I've been sitting behind the dais asking the questions. I've been the person answering the questions. They are theatrical by design anyway. You very rarely find anything out new or interesting in these hearings. Most members of Congress are trying to get material for their social media, but I've never seen one like this. I felt like buying popcorn and just sitting back and watching the show. But put the hearing aside, it's hard to imagine the administration handling the Epstein situation any worse. The next day after that hearing, the Republican chairman of the Oversight Committee came out and said that he was going to continue to hold hearings until he got to the bottom of things. These are Republicans. These are not anti-Trump Republicans. These are folks who like Donald Trump, support Donald Trump, who are coming out to say now that the Epstein thing is not going away. It's hard to imagine that the administration, the Department of Justice, handling it any worse than they have. This slow trickle of new information is going to come out. Keep in mind, we've only seen roughly, by some estimates, half of the documents so far. This is going to be the gift that keeps on giving that nobody wants in this administration.
Well, I mean, it does look like it's having a lot of repercussions around the world. I suspect Keir Starmer's government in the UK is going to fall as a result of some of the revelations in these files. But in the U.S., it strikes me that the politics of this actually should be playing Trump's way, and they aren't because, you know, Epstein has almost now become a byword for the billionaire elite class that everybody hates as part of the general populist vibe. Why isn't it catching fire more for Trump in the other direction?
Populism. That's a great question, by the way, and I've not heard anybody here ask it. This is the answer. There's a populist movement right now on the left and the right in the United States, all around the world, but especially here. And it's the populists who say to themselves, you know what, we don't care who the rich and powerful are, if they're Democrats or Republicans. We're sick and tired of them getting treated differently than ordinary folks. That's sort of a populist message. And it's folks on the populist left and the populist right who are not going to let this go. And keep in mind, the populist right is Donald Trump's base. They love Donald Trump. They really do. But he ran saying that he would expose the Epstein files. They expect him to disclose the Epstein files. It hasn't happened fully yet. And they're not going to forgive him forever. The administration needs to figure out how to handle this better than they have, because the base is the folks right now demanding that there be better disclosure on these files.
Yeah, it does sort of feel like we could be in a situation where, as the saying goes, the revolution eats its own. I want to turn to foreign policy a bit here, Mick, because Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he's been at the White House this week with Iran dominating the agenda. Now, both leaders signaled that there's plenty of work to do still to reach some sort of deal with Tehran. On Truth Social, following the meeting, Trump said that if a deal cannot be reached with Tehran, we will just have to see what the outcome will be. Last time Iran decided that they were better off not making a deal, they were hit with midnight hammer. Netanyahu also finally committed to joining Trump's board of peace in Gaza. A lot to unpack from this, but we're still not seeing the big action that Trump seemed to have been foreshadowing on Iran. What's the holdup? Is it actually just maybe too complicated a mission to try and topple these leaders with airstrikes in Tehran?
Two things, and you and I may have talked about this last week. What would be the two things that would keep Trump from moving right now? Number one, that they aren't ready physically. They don't have the assets in the area. Now, they have been moving assets into the area. There's reporting here in the last 24 hours that there's a second aircraft carrier headed to that part of the world. But the other issue is this. I'm not sure the administration is convinced yet that a sort of a political decapitation, taking out the leadership of Iran, would make things better, or might it make it worse? In Venezuela, they knew what would happen. They'd take Maduro out and the vice president could take over and there'd be a government to run the country. It wouldn't descend into immediate chaos. I'm not sure they've satisfied themselves yet of what would happen in Iran if they take out the senior leadership. So it's those two things, that the assets, the military assets in theater, I think are going to be solved here in probably the next couple of days. But if you continue to see a delay by the Trump administration on military kinetic action, it's because I don't think they're convinced yet that it would make things that much better and could make things worse.
And is there a danger, Mick, just very quickly, that, all politics is local, that people who voted for Trump saying no more foreign wars would just say, oh, we did not vote to get involved in this sort of stuff in the Middle East?
No, I don't think that's part of the deal here. As long as there's not a prolonged engagement, the base may have reacted negatively in a very short term to Venezuela, but they're not penalizing the president because we don't have permanent boots on the ground. There's not an extensive engagement of soldiers on the ground there in Venezuela. And the same would be true in Iran. Yeah, you're right. You put troops on the ground in Iran, there could be a backlash, but sort of this tomahawk diplomacy, tactical strikes, I think would be politically very palatable here right now.
Mick Mulvaney, thanks so much for your time. Always fun to talk it all through.
Thanks, James.